Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Aral and I'm a remote UX engineer based in Orlando, Florida. Today, I will be walking you through how I managed to set up VS Code on my Tab S9 Ultra, as most of you might have seen on the reel I posted a few months ago. The comment section on that video had plenty of different theories, running a server somewhere else, completely faking it, and so on. So for the curious ones, I want to break down how I actually managed to run it. As you might know, there really isn't a native app on the App Store or the Google Play Store for VS Code. So to this day, I've tried many app options and workarounds to find some way to be able to edit some of my code bases on my tablets. But none of these apps were really satisfying enough for me, and the best workaround that I managed to find was to run an instance of VS Code on a server and access it remotely from my iPad or my Tab Ultra. But recently I managed to find a new solution that was a small step forward to running VS Code on mobile. For starters, everything we use will be running locally on your device. This is a huge advantage for me over the workarounds I had to find for my old iPad. With this way, we don't actually rely on a remote server or anything, so you can code and use VS Code locally without any internet access. We will be using two apps, Termux, which is an application that provides a Unix environment on your Android device, and a browser app of your choice. And this brings us to the first limitation of the solution. We still will run VS Code through a browser and work with an open source version of VS Code called Code Server. So you might not be able to find and download all the plugins that you use on your native VS Code on your desktop. One other thing to mention is that even though the short I posted on this YouTube video might mention the Tab S9 Ultra, you still can do this with any Android device that supports Termux. As a matter of fact, since I already have everything running on my Tab S9 Ultra, I will be demonstrating this walkthrough on my Galaxy Z Fold 5 instead to give you a clean install example. However, keep in mind that running Termux and VS Code on a browser simultaneously is a very process-hungry task. So the newer Snapdragon chip devices generally are more up for the task if you ask me. Which brings us to another question that was commonly asked on the short. While I think that being able to run VS Code on your tablet is a liberating and cool concept, I still don't believe that you should be using a tablet as your primary machine for real-life coding work. I did this project out of curiosity to simply show a proof of concept on how we can push the limits of the current tablets. And it is pretty fun to be able to make small edits to my side projects when I'm away from my desk at a coffee shop. But if you're a student or someone who's trying to get into coding, I say you're better off with an entry-level laptop instead of this solution. Anyway, I think that's enough disclaimers and prep talk. I left the link in the description for all the URLs and code that I'll be using to get everything up and running. And as always, if you have any questions, make sure to drop a comment and I'll be happy to answer them in the comment section. Let's get into it. Okay, so one thing I would suggest doing while you're following along with the walkthrough is that you either get a Bluetooth keyboard and a mouse to help out with it. For this installation, I'll be using a wired one with a USB-C and a Bluetooth mouse. You can also connect your phone or your tablet to a monitor using the DeX mode. That helps as well, but I'm not going to do that. But it is kind of easier to use it that way with the mouse and keyboard, especially once you get everything up and running and you're trying to use VS Code as well. So I would strongly suggest that you get a Bluetooth keyboard, doesn't have to be anything fancy, and a mouse to help you work around with it. So starting off, we're gonna kick things off with installing Termux on your device. If you go on to the Play Store and search for Termux, you'll be able to find the app. However, this is an outdated version and it's no longer maintained by the development team. So what we need to do is actually install it from browser and side load it onto our device. So go on to open up your browser, your favorite browser. I have a link down onto this GitHub repository. Check out the latest version. What you want to download is this universal.apk package. So hit that and start your download. And once your download is completed, you'll be able to find that on your downloads folder. You might get a pop-up like this that doesn't allow you to install an unknown app from the source. You have to go to settings and allow permissions for your browser to install it and then hit install. If that doesn't pop up and you're still having difficulties installing, you can go to settings, scroll down and find apps. And from here, find the app, your browser app. I'm using Brave as my browser. So if I go to Brave and I scroll down, you can see that there is install unknown apps option here, and you just allow that permission. So once we install Termux, we'll spin it up. Don't allow. So the first thing that I'm going to do is allow Termux to have storage to my file system. In order to do that, you have to type Termux setup storage, and that should pop up a prompt for you to allow file access for this app. Hit OK, and then you should be able to hit PWD, and you'll see that you see your path to where your Termux files are saved. Now the next step is updating packages. So you want to type in package update and package upgrade -y. Here we're installing some packages that was outdated or anything. With the rest of the configuration, I just went with whatever was default. So just hit enter when that prompt pops up. It's gonna pop up for a few different questions. I just went with default for everything here. Hit enter, hit enter, hit enter, hit enter. Yep. Awesome, so everything's installed. You might run into an issue where Termux actually has a difficulty accessing these packages. In that instance, what you need to do is change your Termux repository. So in order to do that, hit Termux-change repo. It will pop up to this. Hit single mirror. And from here, you have a bunch of options that you can mirror Termux SDK files. My suggestion is trying Termux packages.termux.dev, which is the original repo. So you might want to play around and find the best one depending on your location. And that way you can get the package updates up and running. So in order to run our code server instance, we need a Linux distro. I'm gonna go with Ubuntu because that's what I'm familiar with. But before we can do that, let's just install wget and vim, which is my preferred code editor. So let's just run package install wget and package install vim -y. All right, now that we have wget installed, we can actually run wget to install an instance of Ubuntu. I left a link below in the description where you can copy and paste to download this Ubuntu instance. There we go. This is going to take a few seconds. Once you run that script, it will install Ubuntu, and now you can hit /start ubuntu.sh and run Ubuntu. Yep, now when we're here, we're gonna run an update and upgrade-y. This updates and upgrades all the outdated packages in that Ubuntu instance that we just downloaded, just to make sure that we're caught up with everything. This also will take a few seconds depending on your device. Now all that update is downloaded, we're gonna go ahead and download the latest code server version. Go to releases, looking for the ARM64 tar file. I'm gonna go ahead and leave this line of code in the description just so it's easier for you guys. So we wanna do wget and then paste that URL. Now we wanna unzip that, so we're gonna do tar-xvf code server.zip file, and now we gotta cd into that code server folder and then into bin. In here, every time that you run this file, you're gonna need to reset a password file, which can get annoying. So what we're going to do is export password. Let's do password. So the export password doesn't work for me every time I reset it. So instead, what I did, a quick correction here, is to go into the home folder. From there, go to .config, and then go to code server, and then we're going to edit that config.yaml file. Here, this password here that's randomly generated, hit I and then put in whatever you want it to be. So I'll enter password once again, hit escape. So as you can see now, my password is password. So now if we went back, code server, bin, and now if I did .-code server, our VS Code instance will start running. Now do not turn off Termux. All you have to do is navigate to your browser, open up a new browser and go to http localhost 8080, which will prompt you that password. So ours one I entered was password. So if I enter password, Visual Studio, because that's what I like, but voila, we have an instance of VS Code running. Now, at this point, you have VS Code running, you have Termux set up, but I went ahead and did a few other things that made my life a little easier, because in order to run this every time, so let's say you have exited Termux, you've turned everything off, right? So in order to run everything back up, first of all, you need to start your Ubuntu instance and then cd into code server and then cd into bin and then do .-code server to run everything. And you have to do this every time you turn this off. Now I did a couple scripts to make my life easier. So let's just hit exit here. Now we are at our root. So this is the Termux instance, not Ubuntu. So here, first of all, let's do vim. Let's get vim, because I don't think I installed it in here. Yep, cool. So now if we did vim.bash, vim tilde bash rc. Now in here, I put a script that automatically runs the Ubuntu instance as soon as I spin up Termux. All you have to do is hit I /start Ubuntu .sh, hit escape, column WK, so that you write to this file and you create this file. Now, if I exit and completely stop Termux and spin it back up, we're automatically inside of our Ubuntu instance. Now, in this Ubuntu instance, I've also created a little script as well. So if you did a vim.bash rc, vim's not found, so let's install app install vim. Yes. So if we did vim bash rc now this bash rc is a little bit more crowded than the Termux one, but all you have to do is come down here, hit I, and just say code server 4.22.1 Linux ARM64 4.22.1 dash Linux ARM64. And remember, we also have to cd into bin, so we might as well just chain that as well. And hit escape, column WQ to write and exit. Now, if we exit this and completely get out of Termux again, just to show you, hit Termux. Now, not only we're inside of our Ubuntu instance, but we're also CD'd into our code server file. So all we have to do here is --code server at this point, and we're up and running. And that's all you have to do. Now, I also went ahead on my Tab S9 Ultra. I went ahead and downloaded ZSH, and oh my ZSH, add some color and all the other stuff to it. And I also installed Node as well, because I mainly work with React and JavaScript files. So Node was nice to have. I also installed Yarn for package management as well. If you are curious all about that, I have a video where I am installing all these environments on a Windows PC. So at this point forward, installing all these packages and everything are exactly the same, since this is a Linux environment at this point. So you can go ahead and follow that video if you want. But yeah, as I was saying, guys, this is, I think, what is a very neat way of being able to just run VS Code on your mobile devices. I really like that Android gives us this flexibility to install an Ubuntu instance to be able to create a workaround like this. Like I said, this is completely local, even though we're accessing it on the browser, just so that you don't get confused. Even if I didn't have an internet connection, because I'm running this instance on Termux in parallel, I don't really need an internet connection. Now you will need an internet connection to connect to someone like a Git repository or something like that. But if you have everything already installed locally in here, then you won't be able to be connected while you're editing everything. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions, if I've kind of, went over something really fast, if there's anything that didn't make sense to you, feel free to drop a comment. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you guys have on there. But see you on the next one, guys.